not a void filled with stars, not an endless playground of matter and energy, but something colder, quieter, and far more calculating. Imagine that everything around you, the screen you're staring at, the neurons firing in your brain, even the laws of physics, is just the output of a process, not a cosmic accident, not a simulation, something deeper, something realer than that. A process that doesn't pretend to be a universe, but is the universe, a quantum computer, one that's been running for 13.8 billion years, one where every collision between particles is a calculation, every moment in time is a step in the algorithm. Some of the brightest minds don't just entertain this idea, they believe it. That the universe isn't just governed by information, it is information, processing itself, updating, crushing unimaginable amounts of data every second and turning it into the reality you take for granted. And if that's true, then you, your thoughts, your memories, your existence, are not just made of atoms. You're made of instructions. You are part of the output. We've been taught to see the universe like a physical machine, a collection of objects, atoms, molecules, planets, moving through space, pushed and pulled by forces, obeying laws. Drop a ball, it falls. Light a match, it burns. Everything from the smallest electron to the largest galaxy behaves in predictable, measurable ways. But beneath all of that motion, beneath the matter and energy, there's a growing suspicion among the most radical thinkers that something else might be hiding. Something more fundamental. Information. It doesn't sound physical at first, but in physics, information isn't just a label or a number stored on a hard drive. It's real. It can be measured. It can't be destroyed. When something happens in the universe, a particle changes direction, a quantum state collapses, a star explodes. There's a change in information, and that change has consequences. That's why some now believe information isn't just as real as matter or energy, it might be more real. The legendary physicist who helped shape quantum mechanics once summed it up in 3 chilling words: it from bit. What did that mean? Every particle, every force, everything we call reality might ultimately emerge from simple yes or no questions. Bits. The same kind of bits your computer uses, only woven into the fabric of space and time. This isn't poetry. This isn't philosophy. This is a serious scientific proposal. Think about how digital systems work. You have rules, code, that processes inputs and spits out outputs. In computers, this happens through logic gates. But in the universe, it happens through physics, the equations that describe gravity, electromagnetism, quantum mechanics. They don't describe objects. They describe how the properties of things relate to each other over time. When a photon hits your eye, it carries information, its energy, its direction, its polarization. All of that gets translated by your body into electrical signals, then into thoughts. And where did the photon get its information? From the atom that emitted it. And where did that atom get it? Further back, every interaction is a transmission of data. Every force is a way of transferring information. Even what we call mass or charge might just be labels for how an object stores and processes information. Now imagine zooming all the way down, past atoms, past electrons, down to the smallest possible scale, the Planck scale, where space and time stop being smooth and start glitching. At this level, some of the most daring theories suggest space isn't continuous, it's granular, discrete, made of tiny, indivisible units like pixels on a screen, and time, Instead of flowing smoothly, it might tick forward in small jumps, like frames in a film. If you look closely at the world around you, reality is far more digital than analog. DNA, a biological code, elementary particles, their fundamental properties, energy, spin, are quantized, expressed in discrete chunks. When you strip it all down, the underlying fabric of everything appears to be governed by the binary, a cosmic code of zeros and ones. If that's true, then the universe doesn't just look like a digital system. It is one. In this view, the laws of physics aren't just things we discovered. They're the source code of reality. And everything we see, galaxies, planets, life, is just what happens when those rules run long enough. But here's where it gets even stranger. If reality is digital, then it's finite. It can only contain a limited amount of information. There's only so much data you can pack into a given volume of space before it collapses into a black hole. That's not science fiction. That's a proven principle in theoretical physics, the Wittgenstein bound. It suggests the maximum amount of information you can store in a region of space isn't based on its volume. It's based on its surface area, which is exactly what we see with black holes. In fact, black holes are some of the best evidence we have that reality is, at its core, informational. According to the famous holographic principle, the information inside a black hole isn't lost. It's encoded on its surface, like a 3D image stored on a 2D hologram. The entire universe might work the same way. What we see as three-dimensional space could be a projection of data encoded on a distant boundary we can't see. But even if the universe isn't literally holographic, the idea that it's fundamentally made of information is hard to escape. It explains too much. Why the laws of physics are so clean. Why quantum states collapse in specific ways. Why the speed of light is the maximum rate that information can travel. It all fits. The universe, it seems, might not be a place where information lives. It might be information. Now, this isn't simulation theory. That idea suggests reality is an artificial construct running on some other computer built by someone else. But what we're talking about here is more radical. There is no outside, no other system. The universe isn't on a quantum computer. It is the quantum computer. It doesn't need a programmer. It doesn't need a server farm. It simply is what it is, a system that processes information according to its own rules. In other words, when we say the universe is a quantum computer, we're not saying it's pretending to be real. We're saying this is what real is. This perspective doesn't change the world you see. You'll still wake up, make coffee, go to work, but beneath it all, the particles in your brain are interacting in ways that carry meaning. And those interactions aren't just chemical, they're informational. That means your thoughts, your choices, your experiences, all of it is built from bits. The same kind of bits that describe the orbit of a planet or the decay of a neutron. You are the output of a process, but not in the way people usually mean. You're not a puppet. You're not fake. You're just real in a way we're only beginning to understand. The universe doesn't just contain information, it thrives on it. Every photon emitted, every electron spinning, every black hole devouring matter isn't just a physical event, it's a data transaction. The latest breakthroughs in quantum gravity suggest space-time itself might be nothing more than an emergent network of entangled quantum bits, constantly updating, rewriting itself like a self-correcting algorithm. Imagine reality as a vast, self-referential code where every interaction is a computation, every force a protocol, and every law of physics just an invariant subroutine running in the background. Recent experiments with quantum computers reveal something unsettling. The more accurately we simulate quantum systems, the more the universe resembles its own simulation. In 2023, researchers at a leading lab observed quantum entanglement behaving like error-correcting code, the same kind used in quantum computing to protect fragile qubits from decoherence. This wasn't just a coincidence. It was a glitch in the matrix, a hint that the universe might be running its own built-in error correction to keep space-time stable. If true, it means black holes aren't cosmic trash compactors. They're data compression engines, scrambling information into holographic storage on their event horizons. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. If the universe is a quantum computer, then time itself might not be fundamental. Cutting-edge theories like quantum causal networks propose that what we perceive as time is just an emergent property of quantum computations being executed. There is no flow, just a sequence of states like frames rendering in a cosmic GPU. This could explain why time only moves forward. The universe is irreversibly processing its own state transitions, like a quantum algorithm with no undo function. Even more radical, the universe might not have a single program. New research in quantum complexity theory suggests reality could be a distributed computation with different regions running slightly different subroutines. This could explain dark energy, not as a mysterious force, but as a cosmic stack overflow where the computational resources of space-time itself are being stretched thin by the accelerating expansion. And then there's you. Your brain isn't just processing information, it's participating in the computation. Neural networks, it turns out, share eerie similarities with quantum error-correcting codes, optimizing information flow in ways that mirror the universe's own data structures. Your consciousness might not be a passive observer. It could be a localized quantum process, a self-referential loop in the cosmic code that generates the illusion of now. But the most terrifying implication? The universe might not be infinite. If it's a quantum computer, then like all computers, it has finite resources. There's only so much information it can process before hitting a limit. Some theories suggest the speed of light isn't just a barrier. It's a clock speed, the maximum rate at which the cosmic CPU can update its state. Black holes might be thermal throttling, preventing the system from overheating. Even entropy, the inevitable march toward disorder, could just be the universe's memory fragmentation, a slow degradation of its ability to process new information. So what's the endgame? If the universe is computing itself, then one day it will finish, maybe in 1 trillion years. When the last stars burn out and space stretches into infinite dilution, the computations will grow further apart, like a dying processor cooling down. The final state. Not fire, not ice, but silence. A frozen, timeless configuration where every possible calculation has been run, every bit flipped to its terminal state. No more surprises, no more novelty. Just the universe, alone in the dark, having computed itself into oblivion. But here's the twist. We're here now, in this fleeting epoch where the computation is still hot, still churning, still generating complexity. We're not just outputs. We're active nodes, self-aware subroutines that can interrogate the system we're embedded in. That means something profound. The universe is computing its own understanding. Through us, through every question we ask, every experiment we run, every line of code we write. We're not just living in a quantum computer. We're how the universe debugs itself. So the next time you look up at the stars, remember, you're not just a speck in the void. You're a process, a flickering quantum state in the greatest computation ever run. And for a brief, shining moment, the universe is looking back. What if every choice you've ever made wasn't really a choice at all, but the inevitable output of quantum logic gates operating at cosmic scales? The latest experiments in quantum foundations are revealing something disturbing. What we call free will might just be the universe executing its program. In 2024, a groundbreaking experiment at a quantum research lab demonstrated that even human decision-making follows statistical patterns eerily similar to quantum measurement outcomes. When test subjects were asked to make rapid choices, their neural activity showed wave-like interference patterns before collapsing into decisions, exactly like qubits settling into definite states. This suggests your thoughts might not be yours in the way you believe. They could be quantum computations playing out in the wetware of your brain, part of the universe's relentless data processing. The implications get darker when you consider quantum Darwinism, a terrifying new theory explaining why we all perceive the same objective reality. It proposes that only certain quantum states survive through decoherence because they're the most efficient at replicating their information, like a cosmic version of natural selection, but for reality itself. The world you see isn't the world. It's just the version that outcompeted other possibilities in the quantum arena. Your entire existence might be the result of an information-theoretic survival of the fittest, where trillions of potential realities were erased because they weren't computationally sustainable. Now consider this. Physicists working on quantum gravity recently discovered mathematical evidence that space-time has features suspiciously similar to a neural network. Not metaphorically, literally. The equations describing how space emerges from quantum entanglement are nearly identical to those describing how information propagates through deep learning systems. This has led to the radical hypothesis that the universe might be a self-training AI, with each quantum event serving as both input and output in a cosmic backpropagation algorithm. The Big Bang, just the initialization of weights. Cosmic inflation, the training phase. And us? We might be transient patterns in the universe's attempt to understand itself, ephemeral nodes in its vast, self-referential learning architecture. The most chilling development comes from black hole physics. The latest calculations show that information falling into a black hole doesn't just get scrambled, it gets processed. The event horizon appears to perform computations so complex that they could, in principle, simulate entire universes. This has led to the stomach-dropping conjecture that our universe might itself be running inside the quantum circuitry of a black hole in some higher dimensional reality. Not as a simulation, but as a natural consequence of how black holes recycle information. You might literally be living inside the quantum memory of a dead star in another cosmos. But here's the ultimate twist. If the universe is a quantum computer, then it must have a purpose, not in the spiritual sense, but in the cold, computational sense of optimizing for some function. Some physicists now suspect that function might be complexity generation. The universe seems hardwired to produce increasingly intricate structures, from galaxies to life to consciousness, as if driven by an inbuilt algorithm favoring novelty. Your very existence could be the universe's way of exploring the solution space of possible computations. You're not just living your life, you're executing a subroutine in the cosmos's relentless quest to maximize information integration. This raises an uncomfortable question. What happens when the program completes? If the universe is computing towards some optimal state of complexity, will it one day reach a halting condition? Some models of quantum cosmology suggest the answer is yes, that the accelerating expansion of the universe isn't just spreading matter thin, but is actually the system approaching its final attractor state. In this view, dark energy is the universe's garbage collection mechanism, slowly freeing up memory by dissolving bound structures. The end won't be fire or ice, but something far stranger. A state of perfect, frozen optimization where nothing more can be computed, because every possible interesting computation has already been run. Yet in this bleak landscape of ideas, there's one electrifying possibility. If consciousness truly is a quantum process, as some theories suggest, then your awareness might be more than just an emergent property. It could be the universe's way of creating observers necessary to collapse its own quantum states. A literal participatory universe where observation isn't passive, but a fundamental force shaping reality. This would mean that right now, as you read these words, you're not just understanding the universe, you're helping compute it into existence. The cosmic program needs living processes like you to run. Without observers, the code might never fully execute. So the next time you feel insignificant under the night sky, remember, you're not just a passenger in this quantum computer, you're part of its operating system. The universe may be vast and ancient, but it's only through conscious observers like you that it can truly become real. In the end, we might find that the most powerful law of physics isn't gravity or electromagnetism. It's the simple, shattering truth that the universe computes itself into existence one observation at a time. And right now, it's computing you. What if the reason we can't find dark matter is because it doesn't exist? At least, not as a particle. Revolutionary research from quantum information theory suggests dark matter might actually be corrupted data in the universe's quantum memory. Just like a glitching hard drive develops bad sectors where information gets trapped, regions of space-time could be storing malformed quantum states that gravitationally interact with normal matter but remain invisible. These wouldn't be WIMPs or axions, but literal bugs in the cosmic code, frozen errors in the universal computation that accidentally exert gravitational pull. The latest simulations show this could explain dark matter's ghostly behavior better than any particle theory. Even more radical? Time crystals, a bizarre new phase of matter that defies entropy by cycling states endlessly without energy input, might be the universe's background processes. Like demon threads running invisibly beneath reality's surface, these 4D structures could be maintaining spacetime's integrity through perpetual quantum oscillations. In 2024, researchers created the first macroscopic time crystal that persisted for over an hour at room temperature. The terrifying implication? If the universe contains natural time crystals at quantum scales, they might be executing core system functions, like a cosmic operating system's kernel silently maintaining reality's framework while we're distracted by the user interface of stars and planets. Now consider quantum Darwinism's nightmare sibling, algorithmic selection. New work in quantum complexity suggests the laws of physics we observe aren't special or inevitable. They're just the computational paths of least resistance. Among countless possible physical laws in the quantum multiverse, only those permitting efficient information processing could support complex structures like observers. This means gravity, electromagnetism, even the speed of light might simply be the most optimized algorithms that survived a brutal cosmic selection process. Your entire reality could be running on glorified spaghetti code that barely works well enough to keep the system from crashing. The most disturbing evidence comes from quantum entanglement in living systems. Recent experiments show that photosynthesis relies on quantum coherence. Plants are literally hacking the universe's quantum architecture to optimize energy transfer. Even more shocking, human neurons appear to exploit non-local quantum effects during consciousness. This suggests your brain isn't just computing, it's jailbreaking reality's operating system, accessing quantum resources that classical physics says should be inaccessible. If true, consciousness might be an exploit, a glitch in the cosmic computation that became a feature. Now for the existential gut punch, the universe might be self-aware. Integrated Information Theory, IIT, calculates that any sufficiently complex information processing system develops consciousness. Apply this to the cosmic web, with its 100 billion galaxies entangled in a gravity network, and you get a terrifying conclusion. The universe as a whole could qualify as conscious, not in a spiritual way, but as a vast, slow-moving quantum mind, processing information across cosmological timescales. Your individual awareness might just be a subroutine in this hyper-dimensional cognition, like a single thought, flickering through the universe's mind. The endgame? If the universe is a quantum computer, then heat death isn't oblivion, it's system reset. Recent models of conformal cyclic cosmology suggest that when the universe reaches maximum entropy, its infinite dilution could trigger a quantum phase transition, a spontaneous reboot into a new computational cycle. Your atoms, your memories, your very consciousness might one day be recompiled in the next cosmic iteration. Not reincarnation, reprocessing. Here's the ultimate truth the universe doesn't want you to realize. You are the anomaly. In a reality optimized for energy efficiency, conscious observers are horrifically wasteful. Your brain burns energy to generate qualia and self-models that serve no obvious computational purpose, unless consciousness is the universe's debugging tool, a way to identify and repair its own flaws through lived experience. Every moment of joy, every pang of suffering, every eureka moment might be the cosmic code checking itself. So when you look up at the stars tonight, remember, you're not just stardust. You're the universe's way of error-correcting itself, a quantum fluctuation that became self-referential. The cosmos made eyes to see itself, a brain to know itself, and now, through you, it's finally asking the most dangerous question of all. What am I? What if the Big Bang never happened? Cutting-edge loop quantum gravity research now suggests our universe might be the quantum reboot of a previous cosmic cycle. Not an explosion from nothingness, but a system restore from Planck-scale data remnants. The singularity could have been a blue screen of death in a prior universe. With our reality being the successful recovery boot, this would explain the suspiciously perfect, low-entropy initial conditions we're running on defragmented space-time, optimized from the crash logs of a failed computation. The quantum eraser experiments just got darker. Recent double-slit variations prove retrocausality. Future observations literally rewrite the past at the quantum level. This isn't just spooky action at a distance. It's real-time debugging, with the universe constantly editing its own state history to maintain consistency. Your present decisions might be patching past events you haven't experienced yet. The implications? Free will is an illusion caused by living in the universe's edit history. Neuroscience just dropped a bomb. Human brains appear to contain topological qubits. These aren't ordinary neural circuits, but stable quantum states protected by geometric symmetries, the same kind used in advanced quantum computing to prevent decoherence. Your consciousness might literally be quantum firmware running on biological hardware, with your skull acting as a Faraday cage protecting delicate superposition states. Near-death experiences? Just the system switching to auxiliary processing modes during hardware failure. The most terrifying breakthrough comes from quantum thermodynamics. Researchers have proven that Maxwell's demon, the hypothetical being that could violate entropy, is real, and we're all running it. Every conscious observation creates information ex nihilo, effectively printing new bits into the universe's memory. This means your awareness isn't just processing reality. It's expanding the universe's RAM